A true genocide, RSF kills at least 1,500 people in Sudan's El Fashir. Regional countries express alarm as more evidence emerges of mass killings by paramilitary forces in El Fashir. So scores of people have been killed in attacks by the Rapid Support Forces, as they've come to be known, RSF, during the recent capture of the city of El Fashir in Sudan's western Darfur region, according to a medical group and researchers. The RSF, which has been fighting Sudan's military for control of the country, killed at least 1,500 people over the past 3 days. Again, sounds like a normal day in Gaza.
It was the thing I sent you today. I just saw it. It was today. I sent it to you.
Then send it to Colin, please.
Okay. Go ahead. Keep going.
Killed at least 1,500 people in the days as civilians tried to flee the besieged city, the Sudan Doctors Network said on Wednesday. The group, which tracks the country's civil war, described the situation as a true genocide. Again, we've been talking about genocide for a while, and I guess it's left up to interpretation depending on who's doing it. The massacres the world is witnessing today are an extension of what occurred in El Fashir more than a year and a half ago, while over 14,000 civilians were killed through bombing, starvation, and extrajudicial executions. It is said that the attacks are being carried out as part of a deliberate and systematic campaign of killing and extermination. The statement comes as new evidence of mass killings in the strategic area has emerged from Yale's Humanitarian Research Lab, which reported that satellite imagery of El Fashir taken after the RSF moved in shows clusters of objects consistent with the size of human bodies, as well as large areas of red discoloration on the ground, which, as you have alluded to, is blood.
Can be seen from space. Can be seen from space. Blood.
The paramilitary force overran El Fashir, the army's last stronghold in Darfur, on Sunday after 17 months of siege. The Sudanese government said on Wednesday that at least 2,000 people have been killed in the city since then, while aid agencies say they have received credible reports of atrocities, including summary executions, attacks on civilians along escape routes, and house-to-house raids. Sexual violence, particularly against women and girls, of course, was also reported in the city. El Fashir's fall puts the RSF in near full control of the vast region of Darfur and has raised concerns of another split of Sudan, more than a decade after South Sudan's creation. Do we have that clip ready?
I just told Colin to check his text. He has to probably take a second for him to get it.
Have a little bit more, let's see, almost, okay.
Yeah.
Al Jazeera's Heba Morgan, reporting from Khartoum, said videos on social media taken by the RSF showed fighters shooting at civilians attempting to flee. The latest and most disturbing video to surface was of the fighters roaming through what has been identified as the Saudi hospital in the city of El Fashir, executing patients. Survivors who fled the city said at least 500 people have been seeking refuge in the hospital. Among those killed were health workers, of course. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus.
Oh, you're not even going to say that. You can't not even pronounce that.
I'm a gringo. What can I do? Director General of the WHO, F them, said that more than 460 people were killed at the Saudi maternity hospital. He said the WHO was appalled and deeply shocked by the reports. Again, it is what it is. Regional alarm, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Qatar, Turkey, and Jordan have condemned the abuses committed by the RSF in Sudan. What is the point of condemning this violence if you're not going to actually do anything about it? Jen?
I have the clip. I have a clip. So this is a gentleman that I follow on Instagram. He's kind of got a quirky vibe to him, but he's very factually and very precise. And I just think that he sums up all the different players that are involved in what is going on right now, because Sudan's been an issue for a long time. So
Watch some idiots slating Dubai and saying the whole thing is built on slave labor.
Oh yeah, it definitely is, but it's also actually much worse than that. See, beyond the migrant slave labor imported to physically build Dubai, it's also built off the back of war crimes, genocide, and good old-fashioned theft. Hey, did you know that the UAE, which is the country Dubai is in, is actually the second largest trading hub for physical gold in the world, accounting for nearly 1/3 of all global trade? That's
And as I often say, everything comes back to money and power. Anytime they throw religion as the excuse, saying that this is Christian genocide by the Muslims, just know it's a shield for something much worse. And as you know, much like the $500 billion worth of natural gas under Gaza soil, Sudan is filled with hundreds of billions of dollars in gold.
Yeah, let him go because there's a lot of factors here.
impressive. It's also disturbing considering the UAE doesn't have any gold, at least not its own gold, but it is in fact the #1 destination for gold coming out of Sudan, including lots of gold coming from artisanal mining, which is a fancy modern word for slave labor camp. So it seems like their slave labor tendencies are not just the domestic variety. Now you've probably heard that Sudan are in the midst of a particularly brutal civil war, so the UAE are maintaining access to Sudanese gold by supplying the RSF, the Sudanese Rapid Support Forces, with funds and weaponry, which are then being used to brutalize hundreds of thousands of people and displace millions of people. I think over 10 million people. Of course, the United Arab Emirates are not the only meddlers at play here. In fact, the scope and the nature of the geopolitical involvement in this crisis is frankly mind-boggling. For instance, there's credible evidence that Chinese weaponry has made it into the hands of the RSF via the UAE. Also, British manufactured weapons have been found in the conflict, and they also supply weaponry to the UAE. Saudi Arabia are involved in the conflict, Iran are involved, Turkey are involved. Now, interestingly, Iran and Turkey usually find themselves on opposite sides of geopolitical squabbling, but in this case seem to find themselves pulling on the same side. But then,
well, there's plenty of gold to go around for everybody now, isn't there?
Well, I mean, it's just, it goes to show you, like, at some point, everybody hates everybody. Like, it's so ridiculous. The person who you're, for the same reason that we're always so seemingly anti-Russia, when yet they were the ally that helped create, the world that we have, been sacrificing their people in World War II so that we can become the empire we've become. But somehow they're the enemy.
Iran, who provide weaponry to Russia to help them fight the war in Ukraine, in this instance, they find themselves on opposite sides of the conflict. Chad are involved, but then again, accusations say that the gold that's being smuggled out of Sudan into the UAE is happening through Chad, so that's not very surprising. Egypt are involved, but then again, the sitting Egyptian president came to power via military coup assisted and funded by the UAE, so I guess that's not surprising either. The Russians have actual physical mercenary troops from the Wagner Group on the ground in Sudan fighting alongside the RSF. And the Ukraine has special forces on the ground fighting against the Russians. And the reason for the Russian presence is because of Western sanctions on the Russian economy due to the war in Ukraine, so they need gold to prop up economy and keep it from collapsing. Now that one's particularly interesting because that means that if the West were to apply collective pressure on the United Arab Emirates to stop arming this conflict, it wouldn't just be likely to end the war in Sudan, it would also be likely to end the war in Ukraine, or at least make it significantly harder for Russia to keep funding the war effort. So why doesn't
It's all connected. It's all connected. Exactly. You know what? It makes me think of A Beautiful Mind. One of those charts that people have with the...
That whole scene with Russell Crowe when he first goes to the State Department and he's looking at the codes and the numbers flashing and everything. And you know what? It's true. It's true that during the Cold War, hidden messaging would be put in different publications in print. And there's no question when it comes to warfare, Russia, Ukraine, Gaza, Sudan, what could be North Korea,
Saudi Arabia,
Saudi Arabia, and Yemen. It's all connected.
all connected.
All of it. It's all about money and power, baby. And it always will be.
Doesn't that happen? Well, I have a few guesses. There's the classic cynical response that politicians don't actually want to end conflicts because they're very well aware that funding conflicts is one of the financial cornerstones of a global economic infrastructure that is hugely beneficial to multi-trillion-dollar financial entities that fund those very same politicians. But beyond that, or perhaps intertwined with that, is the Western world's financial ties to the UAE. I mean, I said earlier that the UK supplies weapons to them, but their largest weapon supplier is the United States. Israel is a major supplier.
And wait, I'm glad you stopped there, because how is it that Ziohel is supplying the UAE, right? Or the RSF is what we're talking about, right?
So
Is he right now? He's talking about to the UAE. So how is Israel supplying weapons to the UAE when we have to supply weapons to Israel?
because it's
Like,
all
what is that?
well, remember, we have $1 trillion military budget. And what is the number one export that we have in this country? Weaponry, military. And so we give all of these weapons, we give them to Israel. They can't use all of them. So they give them to the UAE. And the UAE goes in directly to Sudan. They start genociding them. They start getting control over the gold reserves. And whoop-de-damn-do, look what we did. We just made a profit by investing in getting rid of the Sudanese control over their own country, put in our paramilitary group, seize control of the gold reserves, and voila. That's economics, baby.
It's just, you say it like gleefully.
I say it gleefully because I'm tired of giving a fuck.
Well,
Just tell the truth and do not sugarcoat it. I don't want to hear nothing from nobody about how this is, it's the Muslims killing the Christians.
no,
It's war, baby. Or
it's
it's not even war.
global elite. Stop calling me baby. It's global elites.
I'm not calling you baby.
You're just saying baby in general. Are you in
Yes.
character?
Miss Rachel.
It's global
as a supplier.
elites.
Sweden supplies weapons to the UAE. And that's just the weapons trading, right? There's oil trading. They're famous for that. And obviously the gold. There's the gold trading. I mean, the problem here is we're all in bed with each other. And that's just national conflicts of interest. There's also personal conflicts. Like Donald Trump is investing personally. He has plans to build a skyscraper hotel resort in Dubai by 2031. Not to
We're totally going to build the greatest hotel you've ever seen. It'll be in Dubai or Dubai. We're going to have a great time, Jen. You know that's how we make America great again.
Again, the problem is all these places that they're building, all these sort of like wealthy Riviera places, there's not enough people to go to them. This is capitalism just imploding on itself on mass scale because there's not enough people to go to it. I mean, look at what's happening to Vegas. There's just not enough people to be able to go to these places that they're building. And as much as they don't want the regular people there, I get it, but these places are way too big to not have regular people.
Well, look at that. I mean, how do you amass 5 billion with a B fortune after crypto launch? It's
a year ago, right? A year ago.
Pump and dump scheme.
Uh-huh. It's like having Bernie Madoff for president.
This is what happens. This is when people say, oh my God, the Trump family's a crime family. Yeah, so is the Biden family. So are all these guys. The Trumps just do it so brazenly. They don't care who sees it.
No.
They've just exposed the whole system. And lo and behold, because they decided, oh, well, that's just the cost of doing business. Eventually, we were going to get somebody in there that was going to make it that much worse. You never dealt with Wasserman Schultz. You never dealt with Pelosi. You never dealt with any of them that have been looting the treasury for decades. And now that you've got them in there, and they just don't give a shit about anything.
But you would see Debbie Wasserman Schultz would be one of the first people to stand up and say, it's, look at this. Trump got all this money from the crypto business.
1,000%. So again, this is why no one takes this country seriously anymore, and they shouldn't. It's inevitably we are heading to some form of a collapse.
Mentioned the billions of dollars worth of crypto money that Donald Trump has somehow magically made in the last less than 1 year. Look, this money has to come from somewhere, right? When you make this much money, somebody else has to lose it. Now, I don't know about you, but I have a hard time believing that billionaires are making the exact same bad investment over and over and over again in a way that just so happens to personally benefit the most diplomatically powerful human being on the planet. I think they might be just losing their money to him on purpose, which would be bribery. It's invisible bribery. Allegedly, of course, this is speculative. I can't prove that that's true, nor can I prove where the money is coming from. That's kind of the point, right? But if it were up to me to venture a wild guess, I might start with, like the few human beings on the planet that we know for a fact have access to billions of dollars of disposable, invisible funds. And yeah, that's another country I can probably never visit now. The world gets smaller every 2 or 3 videos I make. Not that I'd ever actually want to visit. I mean, this is essentially a giant shopping mall in a desert, which is like the 2 worst things in the world combined into one. Why would anyone want to be here?
That's exactly how I feel about that. Like there.
For years and years, when people would talk up Dubai and say what an amazing place it is, there is nothing amazing about Dubai. It's a completely, it's
another made up place. It's another Disney World. Yes.
It is a made up place for the rich and the powerful. There is nothing to it. And when I hear people talk about, the only people who enjoy Dubai are the rich and powerful. Like, this is not for regular people. And by the way, you want to talk about sex trafficking? Go to Dubai, because that's where a lot of that shit goes down, like a lot of it. So nothing surprises me when it comes to the price that people have to pay. And how do you think, Jen, that the jet setters and all the people around the world would feel if they knew that the only reason Dubai exists is because we have to go into Sudan and pillage and mass murder these people, steal their gold, bring it to the UAE, and build up these cities on sand? Do you think that the average person who enjoys Dubai would give a flying fuck about how many innocent Sudanese have to be mass murdered in order for them to enjoy their jet-setting life in Dubai? Probably not.
No, but I would say that that's colonialism in a nutshell with capitalism. I mean, I just think that's how we just are in general. And people have so compartmentalized. And that's one of the things I was talking about before. Like, it's very easy to not think about, people that are on a whole other continent. And especially a continent that is so massive and we know so little about, right? Then there's so many different parts of Africa. And so it's easy to not think of that and sort of put it on a back burner. And it can't be, because it's the cradle of civilization.
I want to play one last clip for you guys to see just how brutal this treatment is of these innocent people. Now, in case you're wondering what is actually going on right now, there are RSF soldiers tormenting this woman and her children in an open field. That's what they're doing. Now, I don't believe that they killed them, at least as far as I know, but they're pointing their guns at them. Just remember, always question how things come to be. Just like when people don't want to talk about the fact that the White House and the Capitol and Monticello and Montpelier were built by people that look like that woman and her children. It's a dark history. in more ways than one.
It's for me, it's just, I look at this woman in her eyes and it's just soul crushing. It's soul crushing as a mother. Like, she's sitting there holding her babies and she can't protect her babies.
Yeah.
I,
She's probably
it's
saying,
just,
yeah, in her mind, she's saying, if you're going to take anybody, take me. But don't
here's
hurt
what
my
I don't really understand though. Let's say hypothetically, I thought, all right, let's say we wanted to just let them have the gold. Let them have the gold. You want the gold? Have the gold. Let's just say, give them the gold. Why do we need to be massacring people? Why does that, like, I don't, that's where we get into this whole level of sadism and anti-humanity that's really freaking me out the most. Because I understand that they want the gold, let them play their whatever. And again, I don't think they should be able to get it. I think that's absurd. But why does that necessitate massacring people as opposed to just taking the gold and, I don't know,
more
not
material.
massacring people? Like, I don't understand the
It's
connection.
more, again, it's morbid curiosity. People want to know what it's like to kill somebody. And when people get to certain levels of power and wealth and they know that they're above the law,
I don't understand. Like, look at this woman. Look at her. Like,
yeah. And I hate to say it, but if it was let's say a white Ukrainian family, the reaction to it would probably be different on the global stage.
or white South Africans that are fleeing persecution.
Yeah. You don't get darker than this. This is as dark as it gets in more ways than one. So people look at them and they think, well, they're expendable. It's tough, but I want to live a good life. I want to live a fast life. I want to live in Dubai, or I want to visit Dubai and have a great time. How do we do that? How do we keep making that life? Well, go steal some more gold.
This is why I say we have failed as a species. The fact that what that woman with her 3 babies in that position, we have failed as a species. Like, there's just certain things that just, there's never a justification ever for that. There's nothing that that could possibly justify that.